In 1983, a band out of Orange County, California, Stryper, became the first Christian heavy metal band to break into the mainstream. With a passionate fan base, several gold and million-selling albums like To Hell with the Devil and Soldiers Under Command, the band has forever solidified themselves as one of the top-selling metal artists of all time. Since the 80s, the band has put out a string of consistent releases with some of the heaviest music they've ever done. In 2017, just before the release of God Damn Evil, I had the chance to talk to Michael about that record and some revelations on the perceptions of the band versus reality. This is a classic Launchpad Live Vault interview with Michael Sweet.
Hey, this is Michael Sweet. How are you?
How are you? Nice to talk to you. How you doing?
I am doing good. Just prepping for a little trip and this Stryper album to come out. So things are kind of nutty in a good way right now.
I saw. How was the video shoot?
It was great. I mean, we had a lot to get done in a small amount of time, but we did it, and we basically flew in and had a couple days of preparation and whatnot, and then we shot on Monday, this last Monday, yeah. And we shot on Tuesday another video, and then on Wednesday we did a photo shoot. And then everybody went their separate ways on Thursday, and it was a bit of a blur, but everything went great, and we're really excited about this one. I mean, we are everyone, but this one in particular, it kind of has a lot of very special, unique flavors and things going on with it, circumstances, and we're really, really pumped.
Yeah, I want to get into detail about it. Since you were, just getting back doing the video, one of the things I wanted to ask you, you've been doing these now for a while. Do you still get excited when you have the chance and do a video for a track?
Well, to be honest with you, I do. It's a different type of excitement for videos and things like that. The thing that I still get just as excited about equally as much as I did in 1985, 6, 7, 8 is recording.
Yeah.
Creating, writing, and recording. I'm like a kid in a candy store with that stuff.
Yes.
Making videos and whatnot, they're long hours, a lot of traveling, a lot of, okay, let's go, change your clothes. We got 5 minutes before the sun sets. It can be very stressful.
Yeah.
And it's just a different thing.
I want to talk about the new record, and in trolling the Twitterverse, this never, it never gets tired. Knowing you guys for so long, and for all of the things that are comments that are always seem to circling around, the intentions of what the band means and everything like that. And of course, with the title of the new record, this comes up, and I'm trolling the Twitterverse, and I'm going. There's some people who just take it just too seriously. And so, I mean, I get it. I know what it means. But do you want to, for the record, when we put it out there, do you want to clarify it for those people who just, maybe need to figure this out?
What's really always interesting about something like this when we release an album or a song or what have you is the dissection of it. People instantly start dissecting it and assuming that we did it for this cause or that cause, or we wanted the shock value, or we just wanted controversy, or these are people supposedly that have followed us for 35 years. Yeah. And so they know the history. They know that we're firm in our faith and we're not going anywhere. And that's the shocking part of it all. It's like you want to kind of shake some of these people and just say, what is wrong with you?
True.
But,
yeah. They
are our fans who have supported and been there with us through it all. And I understand to a small degree when people have questions. The thing that I don't understand is when people just outright come right out and say, okay, this title lost me, man. I've been a fan for 35 years and I'm out of here. Bye. That kind of blows my mind. Without knowing the story behind the title. Mm-hmm. And if you took English in elementary school, you would know that the way we're saying and writing "goddamn" isn't the same as a swear.
Exactly.
You would kind of be able to figure that one out. And I'm talking about like third grade English.
Yeah, I know. And that's what
what
gets me.
Not to down anybody, but it's just true. They're two separate words. God, damn,
evil. Right.
And people are saying, well, you should have put a comma. Well, no, not necessarily. And, it can be done or said either way. And people are saying, well, you should have added an S and said, God damn's evil. Well, that wouldn't be the same. It would have changed the whole lyric. It would have changed the whole meaning.
True.
Because, true, God damns evil, but we're asking and praying for God to damn evil, the evil that we see on a daily basis and live in our society. So the only way to say it is how we said it. And we felt comfortable with that, or we would never have done it.
Right.
We actually have been sitting on this title for about 10 years. So this isn't just a title that we threw out there in the past 2 weeks and said, "Here's God, let's name it Goddamn Evil."
True.
We've been thinking about this for a long time, and we felt like this was the right time to do it.
The title gives one, and you guys progressively have gotten even, you become almost like a heavier band over the course of, especially the last few records. To me, it sounds like it could be one of the heaviest yet. But as in doing all the research, it says there's a chock full of this and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. What was this process with this record and going through, especially with Perry coming into the mix? What was that like? What was that like?
Well, there's a lot of different things that are going on and that went on to create the album and cause it to be what it is, which is, I believe, I really do, and I think if you ask Oz, Rob, and Perry, I think it's our best album, certainly since 1991. This one's better than No More Hell to Pay. It's better than Fallen, and it's got some flavors of old albums. The thing that's really cool about it is it does have a little bit of everything. So yes, it's edgier, not necessarily in the wow sense, but more so in just the in-your-face sense. The production, it's very in-your-face. We tried very, very hard to make it very defined and have great separation with the recording technique. And then we didn't over-compress it when it went to mastering. So we didn't get into the loud wars, as everyone calls it, and that's just trying to be as loud as every other record.
Right.
And the only way you do that is to limit and compress, and then you lose your dynamics and your transients and all the fun stuff that you love to feel and hear. We didn't do that. So this album is probably, maybe 3, 4, 5 dB lower than our past few albums. If you were to A-B them. But it doesn't sound it. On a meter, it is, but to your ears, it's not, because it retained its punch. And it's just a punchier, more in-your-face album. The guitars are chugging, the kick drum's pounding. Everything is just boom. And we're really happy with that, number one. Number two, the songs. It's a really great album in terms of continuity and flow. And I don't think we've done that since like I said, 91. This is just wow. I listen to every album. I almost want to skip like one song, but I don't. But usually on every album we make, or Sweet and Lynch, or whatever album I'm listening to for that matter, there's always some skippers,
I hear you.
And on this album there isn't. And Perry, believe it or not, did not play on the album. And
really?
when people hear that, it's sacrilege, But it just wasn't in the cards. He had some commitments to fulfill,
right,
and we had a schedule to fulfill. We couldn't change it. So we wound up going in and using a session guy that I've used multiple times, who's phenomenal, a guy named John O'Boyle. And we look forward to the next time when Perry does record with us, because Perry is just an unbelievable player.
I wanted to ask, when, and there's been obviously other bass players that have come in and out of the band, but obviously with one mainstay through most of the of the history. When Perry came in on the rehearsals, did you automatically notice a different vibe? Was it weird hearing something maybe a little thumpier, different, like on the classics? What was that like?
Well, it's really interesting, and this isn't Michael Sweet, being snarky or anything. I'm just telling you the God honest truth. He walked in the room. Well, actually, better yet, he came off the plane, and I picked him up at the airport. I first picked up Rob and Oz, and then we picked up Perry. We circled around, and he got in the car. And the minute he got in the car, there was this spirit to him, and this vibe that was just very joyful. And that's the first thing we all noticed, and that's the first thing we all gravitated to. That's the first thing we all loved, was, wow, this guy is just cool. He's just a good dude.
He just seems very laid back. I've seen a lot of interviews with him. He's just very, very chill.
He's very chill, and he's very positive.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's just one of those guys that's always smiling and doesn't have anything negative to say. And it's just always positive. And I tell you, man, it was just really awesome seeing that and feeling that and being around that. And then when we walked into the rehearsal at my studio here at the house and he played, we all kind of went, okay, this guy's tight, man. This guy's in the pocket and tight. And he kind of switches back and forth between fingers and pick, depending upon what the song calls for, which is really cool, very unique style. Then we said, let's try some vocals, and the guy it nailed the parts above Oz. So I sing the melody, Oz sings above me, and then there's a high part above Oz, and he just nailed it. And the pitch was dead on, perfect, and we're kind of looking at each other, smiling, just thinking, I know what we were thinking. We didn't say it at the time, but we're thinking, oh my God, this guy's the guy.
Well, you just know that moment when it happens. I mean, when, we've all been in jam rooms, and we know when that one guy walks in the room, you plug in, and all of a sudden it almost becomes effortless.
It really does. It really does, and Perry is that guy. And like I said, that the cake is obviously what drew us to Perry was who he was, where he came from, Firehouse, a pro. He's been in some, Trace Atkins, Craig Morgan, been a touring musician, consummate professional player. We knew he was good. We knew he could sing, but the icing on the cake, and it's really great icing, is he's just a sweetheart. And it's funny because we got all the flack, like, well, do you know if he's a Christian? And
no.
It's so funny. It's like, I don't know what people expect us to do, to sit people down and grill them, with wires hooked up to their hands and fingers and ask them if they're a Christian or not. I just don't understand the reaction sometimes. But, I know this, above and beyond being a Christian, first of all, yes, he is a Christian, but above and beyond that, we didn't ask him if he was. We just thought he was a great person.
That's what, that's funny you mentioned that, like, because one of the funniest things I always find with the fan base sometimes is, it's like you said, it's almost like if someone joins the band, they expect you, like you said, to have wires hooked up. And by the way, here's a 100-page questionnaire. In other words, to get into the band. It's sometimes I just don't understand.
I don't get it either, man. It's just, there's this thing with not all, but a select few of Stryper fans that just have this thing. They get bent and set on these rules and regulations that should never apply in the real world. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is, are we Christians? Absolutely. Is our message that of faith? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Will it continue to be? Absolutely. But that doesn't always mean that all 4 or 5 or 6 guys in the band have to be Christians. Some of my best experiences have been with non-Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to take away from my faith or to offend anybody. It's just a fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of my worst experiences have been with Christians.
I could tell you a few stories too, but I'm sure you have more than I do.
I could tell you a lot of stories and shocking stories where I'm just kind of going, wow, man, you meet someone that is a Christian and, you're at a Christian festival and you just kind of sit there and you think, wow, and then you meet some guy that's a devout atheist, or I don't even know if that's the right terminology. He was an atheist.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's the sweetest guy in the world. Polite, nice, team player, just a solid, respectful dude. And it's like, so are you going to pick the guy that's a Christian who's nasty, or are you going to pick the guy that's, an atheist that's really sweet?
Do you think that is part and parcel? Because it kind of leads into, and I think I might rephrase the question I was going to ask you, is the whole, the biggest misconceptions and the stigma that comes, that circles around CCM artists and why some of them try to even shed their image?
Absolutely, and I do have to say, because obviously with the circumstances that we've been through in the past few years, this has nothing to do with anyone in particular. I'm just talking in general about Christianity versus non-Christianity. I mean, people getting hung up on, well, Stryper better pick a Christian guy, and it's like, to me, yes, that's important, but that's not the most important thing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And we want to just enjoy what we're doing and go out there and have fun doing it, and not have to deal with things that you might deal with from all those. I don't even know how to put it, man. I feel like I'm walking on thin ice because I don't want to offend our fans, but True. I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Exactly, I do.
It's that's not going to affect my faith. I get text messages from George Lynch. I have a band with George, and we do albums, and George is an atheist, and he sends me respectful messages about how, why do you believe this or why do you believe that? And I think I just recently said to George in a text, I said, dude, look, I've been a believer for 35 years. Your text message isn't going to change that. I mean, come on, man, really?
That's great.
And it's just people should have a little bit more faith in who we are and what we've stood for 35 years, our entire lives.
Exactly. I mean, there's also I was thinking about this. If you ever had time, like, everybody's always so busy, but, at this point in your career, did you ever get a moment and just reflect about it and, you realize, because from my standpoint, what you guys did opened up the floodgates. I mean, Switchfoot, Red, Lifehouse, Flyleaf, Fireflight, Love and Death. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Fee, opened the floodgates where all of a sudden, there's massive festivals. All of a sudden, and as a youth group leader, I've been on a few myself. Creation Fest, you have Reliant K, you've got all these, all these bands that come out. And I don't think that happens without the creation and just the sheer guts of what Stryper did.
Well, maybe not. I mean, that's a great thought, and kind of makes me blush a little bit, just thinking about that, something like that, and that's pretty powerful. But I mean, there might have been another band that would have come along. I don't know, but for whatever reason, God chose us. 4 clowns from Orange County who couldn't tie their shoes, and maybe that's why God chose us, because we were so innocent and not in the we never did anything wrong sense, but just in the we didn't really care about, at that time we didn't care at all about like becoming rock stars and the glorification that comes from that, and with that we just cared about truly sharing our message and God's message and the word, and throwing out Bibles and reaching people. That's all we cared about. That's all we still care about. It's just, to be honest, we're a little more jaded now, you know?
Yeah.
We're older and grumpier. And, you know, that's just what life does to you. But, I mean, we still care deeply about why we do what we do.
You were talking about, you know, the four guys that started, you know, obviously back, you know, Rock's Regime, and then, you know, obviously the first EP, and, you know, leading up to Soldiers and beyond. I kind of look at the, you know, the surge as the 84 to 86 period, kind of like where the biggest change occurred, so to speak. Because I remember seeing this, you know, kind of like a budget video for Soldiers, and all of a sudden you're doing, you know, the Calling on Me video. So, and I'm trying to picture you dressed up, walking onto the stage, walking onto the sound stage for that video, and seeing this massive thing built for you guys. Was that kind of a moment for you, and you were like, whoa?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were definitely deer in the headlights 24/7. We were just, you know, if everyone could go back and see our private faces behind the scenes, I think they'd be pretty blown away, because we were just kind of wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and kind of looking at the cameras and staging and lights and everything going on around us, thinking, what is going on? This is crazy. This shouldn't be going on, because we're making a bold stand for Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. But we're blowing up and number one on MTV and beating out Bon Jovi and Motley Crue.
Yeah.
And it was a time I don't think that music will ever experience again. And that's not to take anything away from anyone else that's crossed over and broken and from the Christian side to the mainstream side. You know, Smitty's done it, Amy Grant's done it, a number of artists have done it. I tell you what, it's not an easy thing to do. It's not really anything you plan or try to do. And Stryper, that's the thing about Stryper. I don't know about them. Maybe they did plan it. Maybe they did try to make it happen. We didn't try to make it happen. We were just being ourselves. We were a rock band that became Christians, not a Christian band that started playing rock. It was the other way around. We grew up in Hollywood, and I think because of that, kids could relate to us a bit more, and we were just at the right place in the right time, and that's where God had us, and it just exploded, literally, and just took off.
Do you have, and as I circle back to the beginning with the new record, is there that kind of feeling? Because there's such a passion behind this record in just listening to you. Is there some of that vibe back again of that you feeling of, wow, this is something like fresh, new? It's a little old, it's a little mix of everything, but it sounds really fresh. Are you getting that kind of excitement again?
Yeah, not some of it, but all of it. It's all back. Nice. It's all back. I mean, here I am, going to be 55 years old. My brother's going to be, 60, 68 in March. We're 58. I just aged him by 10 years. But we feel right now like young, teenagers again. That time when we were putting together a band and playing clubs and writing new material, and that excitement of, wow, let's do this. We want to do this. That's how we feel again. And quite honestly, we haven't had that feeling for a while. It's been kind of sucked out of the band for whatever reason, and it's just kind of, you go through the motions, and
right.
you fulfill your obligations and whatnot. You still enjoy it, you still want to do it, but you just kind of lose the focus sometimes. And we've got our focus back, and I think that we're just so pumped about this album. We're so excited about it, everything about it, the energy of it, the message, the music, the creativity, the musicianship, the feel of it, the flow of it, the songs, just everything. The artwork, people, it's so funny. It's like, we thought long and hard about this artwork, and then you go and read some comments, and some guy comes out and says, I think you should change it, man. I think you should change it now. And it's like, okay, do you think we're going to do that? It's not going to happen. I mean, we've really put a lot into this and really thought it through and prayed it through, and it's between us and God.
And I for the first time I saw the album cover, and I was just, I love it. A classic Stryper album cover, and and that's saying something, because since the products got smaller, less emphasis was put on the quality of the production of the whole package of the artwork, right. And the fact that you guys have just remained to doing really, I don't want to make this the art segment, but the really great album covers that make people feel, this is still alive and well, rock and roll in its form. The way we remember albums, the way we remember, even tapes is there with these guys.
And you just hit the nail on the head with that. The way we remember albums, all the old albums, all the great albums of the past were like that.
Yeah.
When you held them in your hands, you would look at them in awe and just go, wow, look at this cover. Man, look at the artwork. Look at this package. Listen to these songs. I mean, oh my gosh. And Strypers, whether we're achieving that or not, we're really trying to. We're trying hard to, make all the younger generations that don't have that or haven't experience that with us anyway, and remind them of the greatness of the past. And there's so much of it. And a lot of people were commenting on, well, how am I supposed to explain this to my kids? My kids are just getting into, they're 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, and how am I supposed to say, well, hey, let's go listen to Goddamn Evil? And I think a simple solution to that is to educate them.
Mm-hmm.
About how it is separate words, and how, because of that, what it means, that it's not a swear. And this is what it means. It's a request, a prayer for God to damn evil.